I stood in the middle of my empty apartment, surrounded by boxes, and realized I didn't even know how to ask someone to help me carry them up the stairs. Hello, and welcome to English with Confidence. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us. Sometimes, the very first week in a new place teaches us more than we expect, not through big lessons, but through dozens of small, ordinary moments. Today's story is about mine. My name is Nadia, and I still remember the exact moment I arrived. Standing on the sidewalk outside my new apartment building, 2 suitcases beside me, a folder of documents in my hand, and absolutely no idea how anything around me worked. The first problem came almost immediately. The building's front door required a code, and the paper my landlord had emailed me didn't match the panel in front of me. I stood there, pressing numbers uselessly, until a man walking his dog paused nearby. "Need help with that?" he asked. "Yes, please," I said, relieved someone had noticed. "I have a code, but it's not working." He glanced at my paper and pointed to a small button I hadn't noticed. "You need to press this first, then enter the numbers." I tried again, and the door clicked open. "Thank you so much," I said. "No problem, happens to everyone," he said, before continuing on his walk. That first small success felt surprisingly large. I carried my suitcases inside and spent the rest of that day slowly unpacking, discovering, one by one, all the things I didn't yet know how to do. I didn't know where the nearest grocery store was. I didn't know how the buses worked. I didn't even know how to ask my new neighbors for the simplest things. The next morning, hungry and low on supplies, I forced myself outside to find food. I walked several blocks before finding a small grocery store and stood just inside the entrance for a moment, overwhelmed by unfamiliar brands and labels I couldn't fully read. At the checkout counter, the cashier said something quickly, and I didn't catch it at all. My face must have shown my confusion because she slowed down and repeated herself. "Do you need a bag?" "Oh, yes, please," I said, relieved it was something so simple. She smiled kindly, packed my groceries, and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood, by the way. Haven't seen you around before." "Thank you," I said, surprised by the small warmth in her voice. "I just moved here, actually, yesterday." "Well, you'll get the hang of it quickly," she said. "Everyone does eventually." I carried my groceries home, replaying that small exchange the whole way, surprised by how much one kind sentence could lift an otherwise exhausting day. By the third day, small tasks still felt heavier than they should have. I got lost trying to find a pharmacy, walked in the wrong direction for nearly 20 minutes before asking a stranger for directions, my voice shaking slightly as I put together the sentence in my head first before speaking it out loud. But the stranger simply pointed the way, patiently, without any hint of impatience at my hesitation. By the end of that first week, I hadn't done anything remarkable. I hadn't given a speech or solved a major problem or impressed anyone. I had simply asked for a door code, asked for a bag, and asked for directions, 3 small, ordinary sentences that, at the start of the week, had each felt impossibly large. Sitting in my apartment that Sunday evening, surrounded by mostly unpacked boxes, I realized something important. I had survived, not through grand confidence, but through dozens of small, imperfect attempts, one uncertain sentence at a time. If you're in the earliest days of a new place, a new job, or simply a new stage of learning English, and everything feels unfamiliar and heavier than it should, I want you to remember something. You don't need every sentence to come easily this week. You only need to keep asking, keep trying, one ordinary moment at a time, the same way I did, standing outside a locked door on my very first day. If this story helped you today, please subscribe to English with Confidence for a new story every week. And if you know a friend who is also learning English, share this video with them. You might be exactly the encouragement they need today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and I'll see you in the next story.